Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the backstory. If you're new here, kindly hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified when we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Justine Muturi's position, which is the Attorney General's position, is under siege by the political or power brokers within the Kenya Kwanza administration. And if you look at the political happenings within the Kenya Kwanza administration, it points to the fact that someone wants the Attorney General to either resign or some of his powers will be taken away. That story has been captured by the Standard newspaper, yesterday's Standard newspaper, where they've also written here that Attorney General is under siege. And down here, they're talking about the intricacies of government have conspired to send him into oblivion, which means the political brokers within the Kenya Kwanza administration have conspired to send Justine Muturi into political oblivion. So we look at some of the reasons why. But before we do that, I want you to listen to this video where the Attorney General himself complained or told the nation that he had not been consulted before some of the issues were taken to the government printer. I want you to listen in.
That's not my line, but I can say that when I saw those changes last night actually, I was also surprised at the rates at which they were being increased. But I think a lot of consultation is happening. So I just want to tell Kenyans what they have said through social media, through various other medium, has been heard.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Attorney General of Kenya is the president's leading legal advisor. And for anything to happen in Kenya that needs like a legal kind of input, the first person to go to is the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya. Remember, Attorney General sits in cabinet during cabinet meetings as an ex officio. He's not a member of the executive. He sits in as an ex officio. So he gives his input on matters or on legal matters that affect government policies. So in this case, the Attorney General tells Kenyans that he was not consulted when the issue of raising fees on matters to do with new acquisition of IDs and all that did not go through his office before they were taken to the government printers. He was also surprised as well. And he's telling Kenyans that he also saw it in the media. So what does that tell you? It tells you that there are a lot of issues going on within the Kenya Kwanza administration that Attorney General's input have not been sought. Take, for example, that issue. Why would someone take such a proposal to government printers without the Attorney General's input? And the fact that the Attorney General has come out boldly to talk about it and tell Kenyans, hey guys, I'm not part of this. So it's like it's washed his hands. So this did not go down well with some of the political brokers or political handlers of President Ruto. Then the question is, why would someone want to frustrate JP Muturi? Two issues come into mind. One is the fact that William Ruto is trying to consolidate power. And by consolidating power, he's trying to get guys who he feels are very close to him, guys whom he can trust, guys whom he can trust his life with, into key positions in government. And if you look at, and they're trying to actualize this through a bill which was presented in Parliament by Kimani Ichung'wah. In that bill, which is the Kenya, in that bill, there are so many proposals that have been made. Already that bill has gone through the first reading in Parliament, and they are seeking to do a lot, so many amendments to the current national government administration laws, or it's called the National Government Administration Laws Amendment Bill 2023. So in this bill, one key issue which is related to the office of the Attorney General is that there are several changes that they want to make in the office of the Attorney General. One of them is the fact that they want to take away the custodianship of the seal from the office of the Attorney General to the office of the Head of Public Service, Felix Koskei. You know, the seal has always been used to, it has been used to rubber stamp some of the official government documents. So whenever you see the government seal, it means, it shows you that whatever has been, government seal has been appended on is the official position of the Kenya's government. So they want to take away that seal from office of the Attorney General, where it has existed since Kenya became independent, and now want to move it to the office of the Head of Public Service. And who is the head of the public service is none other than Felix Koskei. And who is Felix? Felix Koskei is a very close confidant of William Ruto. You know, Felix Koskei is the more, I can tell you that, like right now, he's the most powerful person after the president. Leave alone the deputy president. On paper, or according to the constitution, the deputy president is the second in command. But politically speaking right now, Felix Koskei calls the shot. And he's a very close person to the president right now. And that is why there is a feeling that for the Kenya Kwanza administration to fulfill some of their pledges or some of their promises, they need someone who is friendly to the administration. And that person is none other than Felix Koskei. So in the bill that has been sent to Parliament by Kimani Ichung'wah, there are several proposals that they are making here. And some of the proposals is the fact, some of the proposals are, one, as I've told you, taking away the seal from the office of the Attorney General to the office of Head of Public Service. Then the secondly is the establishment of the National Security Committee. The National Security Committee is going to be hived off the National Security Council in such a way that that National Security Committee will be, the law proposes that it will, the people who will sit in that National Security Committee will be the Chief of Defense Forces, the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, and the Inspector General of the National Police Service. Then other members that have been proposed are the Solicitor General, Principal Secretary for Defense, Internal Security, Foreign Affairs, National Treasury, and any other person whose knowledge and skills are considered for the function of the committee. You see. So we have the National Security Council, which the president, the deputy president, head of Kenya Defense Forces, the Director General of National Intelligence, sit in, and all the others. But in this committee, they've excluded the deputy president. So what does that tell you? It tells you that William Ruto's administration is trying to consolidate power by creating another center of power that can make decisions without involving the deputy president and the Attorney General as well. Because in this case, the Attorney General does not sit in that National Security Committee. It is as it has been proposed. the head of public service will head that committee. So it still boils down to this powerful person in the public service, head of public service commission. So some of the issues that have been raised here have raised a lot of heat, a lot of political heat in the Kenya Kwanza administration. And the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has cautioned the Kenya Kwanza administration that some of the proposals in that bill are going to alter the administration of government. And some of them are unconstitutional. So Wetangula, in his communication to the committee, is told the committees that are handling this bill to keenly look at the issues that have been raised in this bill. Because Wetangula tells them that some of these changes to the executive raises a lot of constitutional issues that cannot that cannot be glossed over. We cannot gloss over them. They need to be looked at keenly, because some of them change the independence of some of these committees, like the office of the Attorney General. It's an independent office. The National Security Council, if you change some of these things, they are pegged in the Constitution, and any change changes the legal structure of the Constitution. So Wetangula has talked about this and has raised this with the Kenya Kwanza administration. So the second issue that we're going to talk about, why the Kenya Kwanza administration is not comfortable with JB Muturi, is the fact that within the corridors of power, there are people who feel that JB Muturi still swear an allegiance to the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. You know, JB Muturi has been a very close confidant of the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. You know, JB Muturi's political life started in 2007 when he vied for the Siakago seat and lost. But when Uhuru came into power, former President Uhuru Kenyatta lobbied for JB Muturi to be offered the position of the National Assembly Speaker. Even though Ruto had his plans and he had his guys that he wanted to take up that position, but Uhuru lobbied for JB Muturi. And all along, JB Muturi has been known to be a very close confidant of Uhuru Kenyatta. Until around 2 years ago, when we were going for campaigns, that is when he switched and started supporting William Ruto. But in politics, one thing which is, they say, is constant always is betrayal. So then Uhuru Kenyatta felt like JB Muturi had betrayed him, because he thought that JB Muturi was going to support his man, who was Raila Odinga. But JB Muturi opted to support Ruto. So there is this feeling within the Kenya Kwanza administration that JB Muturi still owes his allegiance to the former president, and that's why they want him out. Is being seen as someone who is holding brief for the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. So that is the second reason. So in all this, a scheme has been hatched. That is according to me. I feel like a scheme has been hatched to, one, do away with JB Muturi. And how do you do away with JB Muturi? One is to force him to resign. Because, you know, that position of the Attorney General's office has security of tenure. You cannot just fire the Attorney General of Kenya. It can only be fired after when he has done something gross that contravenes his mandate constitutionally. So after that, the president has to convene a tribunal that will investigate him and all that. So this they see as something that will take time and might win the public, might erode the public trust in the Kenya Kwanza administration. So the shortest route that they are taking is to frustrate him, and two, to take away some of his powers. So those are some of the schemes that have been hatched so as to let JB Muturi go. One, frustrate him, and the frustration have started by one, sidelining him, not consulting him when it comes to key decisions within the government. And the second one is like using the bill that has been proposed by Kimani Ichung'wah to take some of his powers away from him. There have also been issues that have been raised, that I've been reading about, of understaffing of office of the Attorney General. There have been complaints that the office of Attorney General is understaffed, and that some of his key staff have been poached by Parliament and they have not been replaced. So what does that imply? It implies that that office will be rendered kind of incapable of offering services to the government. Then the third issue, which is, okay, we've talked about frustration, we've talked about doing away with some of his powers, and I think eventually JB Muturi will resign. So if he resigns, then the Kenya Kwanza administration will look for someone who is friendly to the administration, someone who can play ball, so that that person will be installed. And when that person is installed, then Ruto shall have consolidated power within his cycle. So that is all from me, ladies and gentlemen, for today. Until next time, bye-bye.